Okay, so just a little update before I get started. This is my 78 F100 with Crown Vic swap using Jake Winterton's swap boxes and using the Outcast Autoworks motor mounts made by Kyle Howard. As it is right now, I've got the excuse me, I've got the doghouse set back on the cab and the frame of the truck, and I've got it scooted all the way forward. You can see right here, which has left me a gnarly gap between my door and fender. But the reason for that is I had to get a little bit of clearance between my water pump and the cooling fan. Looks like I've got a little bit of, oh, that's where I've got a little pressure on the engine. I got it jacked up just a little bit, and the transmission is jacked up. I had about a 1/4 inch clearance here by scooting the doghouse forward. I talked to Kyle, super great guy, by the way. How many people will actually answer a message on a Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock? He did. Got back to me in less than 5 minutes. I have had the same experience out of Jake also. Two great guys. I'll definitely buy from them again. Anyhow, the a little tight right here, but I've got lots of clearance between the engine and the firewall. So when I got a hold of Kyle, he explained to me that the way I've got his motor mounts oriented right here, it's not actually for this model. So what he told me to do is remove this front bolt he supplied, throw it away, scoot everything back after I take this bolt, the factory bolt, out, and once this motor mount boss is over top of this, the tower, inside the whole slot in the tower, scooting all this back, just put that stock bolt back through the tower and the bracket into the motor mount housing. That's gonna move me forward inch, maybe 2 inches. Or I'm sorry, move the engine backwards about 1 or 2 inches. So if it goes back 2 inches, that's gonna be perfect. That'll allow me to scoot my doghouse back, get my gaps back correct on my doors, plus leave room in between the water pump and the cooling fan. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and I'll give you a quick rundown when I'm through. Just a quick note, because of where we're moving the motor mount to, going through an extra thickness, about 1/2 inch of steel plate, so the stock motor mount bolt is not gonna be long enough anymore. But I found some really nice flanged bolts right there at Tractor Supply across the street from my shop. There's the number. Grade 8, flanged, right size, perfect. Looks just about like the original. So that should work for that. Okay, so we moved the bolts, scooted the engine back just like I was instructed to by Kyle. Got lots of room here now. Still have plenty of room at the firewall to get to the bell housing bolts in case I gotta make a converter change or something else in relation to the transmission. You'll notice where the front motor mount bolt ended up, going right through the tower. Everything else lined up. And just like Kyle said, left one of his supplied bolts out. Replaced my factory bolts with the longer ones I showed just a moment ago. And you'll notice on the passenger side, this one ended up in a slightly different location. So it's not inside the tower, it's outside the tower, but it's right on the edge. And same thing as the other side. One of the extra supplied bolts that Kyle gives with the kit, and one is left out. So still have 2 bolts holding the motor mount to the engine, and 2 bolts holding the motor mount to the stand on both sides. Worked out great. I'm absolutely tickled with it. And another bonus, I had a custom drive shaft made when I still had the old combination, old suspension in, and I still have a little bit of compression left on the drive shaft yoke. I'll get a little more testing on that when I get it on the ground again in full weight and check range of motion. But the drive shaft's in a pretty good straight line right now, so I don't anticipate there being much in and out movement on the yoke. So I think we're actually going to be good. To test that, I'll just take the flange bolts out from the rear end loose, push the drive shaft in, cycle the suspension, make sure there's still clearance there the whole way so I'm not preloading the back end of the transmission at any point through the suspension cycle. So there it is, guys. Worked out great. And I've got enough clearance here now where when I scoot the doghouse back, I should still have plenty of clearance. I think the doghouse will come back about an inch, or yeah, about an inch. So I should still have at least another inch right there. So, hope the video helps somebody, and thanks for watching. Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to mention. By scooting the engine back, it also gave me another little benefit. The drain plug for the front part of the sump was right out here, kind of over top of the steering rack. Now its location is a little easier accessed. I should be able to get the drain plug out now and let the oil drain right down behind the steering rack and be able to get it in and out without, with less fuss than it would have been before in the old location. So thanks again.